Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 quick stories to get your day started. Metro Parks making your holidays merry and bright. You can time travel back to a Victorian era Christmas this weekend at Carriage Hill's Christmas on the Farm this Saturday. Plus Saturday and Sunday you can head out for music at the market at Riverscape.
Oh, should be a good time out there. Go out and have a just merriment, all the merriment, right?
Yes, I'm so in the mood for Christmas, it's not even funny.
Oh, I love it so much. And looking for some holiday lights, all you got to do is head to downtown Dayton. Now, there's an interactive drive-through light show downtown with the jingle lights every night until January 1st. So they have signs up all over Main Street. So when you're driving down, you just got to turn onto a specific radio station, and the lights go with the music as you're driving downtown.
So creative.
Yeah, I love it.
I love that you don't have to get out of your car to see so many lights now.
You don't
I can stay in my warm car.
You're a wuss. It's not that bad.
I know. It's not bad yet, but
could be worse.
Soon enough. And
it's you.
And Juby's Creamery releasing their newest ice cream flavor for the holidays. It's tiramisu, featuring vanilla cream filled with wafer cookies and a chocolate crunch topping.
I bet that's delicious.
What?
Tiramisu is so good.
So good.
Juby's, they have one over in Fairborn, one over in West Carrollton. So get out, give it a shot, support local businesses. You look hungry.
I need that.
I know, I'm hungry this morning too.
Okay. We are waking up to a chilly start here in the Miami Valley. It's really starting to feel like December out there.
I know, poor Alex and the December feels. And let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, we are in the heart of the beginning of winter, right?
Yeah, it's winter-ish time period where we're not dealing with snow. And I actually had a bunch of people tell me they'd rather have snow in this environment. And there's a lot of logic to that because yesterday, frankly, we saw the rain and it was a cold, cold rain overall. Temperatures low to mid-30s. We're basically in the ballpark of freezing, although once you get south of 70, it seems like it's more mid-30s at that. Bus stop forecast, temperatures will continue to stay in the 30s all throughout the day. Should see some pockets of sun, although we will tilt more towards the clouds during the afternoon and the evening. So it does look like it is going to be
A months-long legal battle could soon come to an end. City Council members just voted on a final tentative agreement with several companies about the future of the historic Troy Tavern. It would allow for either the quick repair or demolition of the building. Main Street will be closed for months while officials battled over the building's fate. Now we're working to learn when this agreement would be finalized.
The Federal Railroad Administration now selecting the Gem City for a new Amtrak route proposal. Senator Sherrod Brown made the announcement here on Facebook. He says the administration picked Dayton as a key route in the Buckeye State. The other major cities include Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, and Toledo. Administrators are now getting ready to begin route developments. Different sections throughout the Midwest will get up to $500,000 in funding for the project. In a statement, Senator Brown says, quote, "Good Amtrak service shouldn't be a privilege only for people on the coast. These new routes would expand opportunity, help grow businesses and create jobs, and connect communities in Ohio and across the Midwest."
Montgomery County Commissioners approving a $1 billion budget for 2024. County officials say they balanced the budget without increasing water and sewer service rates. They also set aside $2.5 million to bring in new jobs and workers to the area. Here's a breakdown of the budget. 43% will go towards social services programs in the county. Another 22.1% will go to courts and law enforcement, public works, and general government will each get just over 16% of the budget. The rest will go towards economic development and debt services.
Holiday trivia is a chance to get some extra money under your tree this year. Use the phone's camera and scan the QR code you see on your screen right now to enter. Get the question right and you could win a daily prize of a $100 Visa gift card, or you could be entered to win a $5,000 weekly winner. Congratulations to yesterday's winner, Kevin McFarland. Make sure you watch Your Day every morning this week for your chances. For complete contest rules, go to Dayton247now.com. And this is sponsored by Thrush & Son.
Our time right now is 5:09. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Many parts of Washington under flood warnings after nonstop rain blew through the U.S. yesterday. Just ahead, video from the Evergreen State. 4 Republican frontrunners preparing for tonight's GOP debate. Just ahead, why this debate will play a big role in the 2024 election. You're watching Your Day. Ready or not, the 2024 presidential campaign is starting to pick up speed.
In just over a month, the Iowa Republican presidential caucuses will be held.
Tonight, four of the people seeking the GOP nomination will be front and center, trying to take the spotlight from frontrunner former President Donald Trump. John Lawrence reports.
The race to the White House is taking a detour through Tuscaloosa.
For a long time, we as a party, we have been running from something. But now is our moment to actually start running to something.
Former governors Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy qualified for the fourth Republican presidential debate.
First thing, I've been a governor. I know what bureaucracy is. I know how to clean it up.
To make it to the stage at the University of Alabama, the four candidates had to have at least 80,000 unique donors and register at least 6% in two qualifying polls.
To have campaign slogans to say this and that and then not produce results or not win the election, that's not going to do the trick.
Former Governor Asa Hutchinson didn't qualify for Wednesday's debate, but says he is still in the race. Speaking of the frontrunners,
what we need to worry about is the direction this country is going in, and most people don't agree with it. And if you don't agree with the direction of the country, why would you vote for either Trump or Biden, who have put us in this direction?
On Wednesday, both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are attending fundraisers for their respective campaigns. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at as you look over the Miami Valley itself. A morning where we aren't waking up to as much rain and snow anywhere near what we saw yesterday. Still dealing with some clouds, although look to the north. There you see the clearing, and that will likely give us a window here for temperatures to drop even more. Not that it's going to be a ridiculous drop, but yet again, we're going to start out somewhere around the freezing mark. Should be upper 30s, if not 40. We're pointing out, though, during the afternoon, some of us won't get out of the upper 30s, especially those that deal with more clouds and are a little bit further north, or those that have cooled off already. Tonight, ballpark about the same temperature. Tomorrow we'll have temperatures somewhere around 50. We'll call it generally sunny. It will be a much warmer day overall. Beyond tomorrow, temperatures continue to stay above average through the weekend. Well, I'll caveat by saying Saturday to Sunday we'll have falling temperatures. Saturday, interesting, because it could be showers or even thunder showers. Sunday, based on temperatures falling all the way into the 30s, we could deal with yesterday's style system, meaning rain and snow mixture during the second half of the day. Now, if you are traveling this morning, well, it is a fairly quiet morning commute thus far. Our cameras are down, and unfortunately, we have not been able to pick them up, but we do have our maps. So we'll be using those primarily this morning. So far, green across the board. Haven't seen any tie-ups or concerns at this hour.
People all across the U.S. and even here in the Miami Valley experiencing heavy rain throughout the day yesterday. In Washington, many parts, including Seattle, under flood warnings following the rain. Take a look at your screen now. This is video from the flooding in Carnation, a town about an hour outside Seattle. The NWS says at a whopping 58 feet, the river will cause major flooding throughout communities. The flood warning for parts of the Evergreen State is currently in effect until tomorrow.
Yeah, so when they talk about a major flood, I think there's 5 flood stages: action, minor, moderate, and major. And that one is like the most extreme. And what they tend to do is they base the flood stages on the impacts to the community. So an action stage would be the type of one where, hey, you know what, you may want to start thinking about, let's say, putting some sandbags. Minor is the parks around town. And then once you get into the bigger stages, that's where you start talking about people having to be evacuated or parts of the city becoming inaccessible for not just maybe days, but for actual weeks.
Well, the West has seen a ton of rain this year. California, they've had drought for a long time, but I mean, there have been areas that have been growing vegetation that haven't grown vegetation in decades.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because this is the wet season out west. The winter, that's where you do get the atmospheric rivers that bring in a ton of moisture. So it's likely to continue here.
All right, well, our time right now is 5:18, still to come.
New study takes a look at cannabis use disorder and lung cancer risk. I'm Liz Bonus. Why pulmonologists are very concerned. We explain just ahead.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 stories to get your day started. Tickets for the Major League Soccer Cup final go on sale at 10 this morning. The Columbus Crew are taking on the Los Angeles FC at home. You can watch the game this Saturday on Fox 45 starting at 4.
Oh man, we've got some great teams here in Ohio.
We really do.
Yeah, I mean, if I liked soccer, I would watch it.
It's just so long.
I watch football.
Boring.
But that's okay. Nick's shaking his head. He's a diehard soccer fan over there.
Sorry,
the
Nick.
real football, as he says. Now, comedian Bill Burr is hitting the road next year. He just announced his 2024 tour dates. Burr is performing in Columbus on May 16th. Tickets go on sale Friday morning. This dude is ridiculous. He's hilarious.
I've never heard of him.
You've never heard of Bill Burr?
I don't think
Oh
so.
my, Alex, I'm telling you.
Does he have a Netflix special?
He has a lot of Netflix
Okay,
specials.
I'll
He's
go watch
hilarious. You gotta go check it out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Indianapolis, Columbus.
I love a good comedy show. That's yeah, pretty much all I watch whenever
We've
I
been
get the
really trying
chance.
to go to more of them, so.
Yeah, go laugh your little heart out.
Okay. And McDonald's is rolling out some major changes to the Big Mac recipe. That includes a better quality melted cheese, softer buns, and adding onions to the meat on the grill. It's also adding more Big Mac sauce.
Why are we
Okay.
messing with a classic here?
I mean, it sounds like all good improvements.
How about you
Better
improve the
cheese,
quality of the
softer buns.
meat? That might be what the issue
That
is.
would be great. That
yeah.
would be great.
So
They're gonna
they're
add the
changing
onions in the meat,
everything
that'll
else
make it
except
better.
their microwave meat. Anyways, I digress.
We are waking up to a chilly start here in the Miami Valley. Really starting to feel like December finally.
Yeah, it's cold. That's right. Let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, it is what it is. It's December, right?
Yeah, and that goes for the Big Mac. Wasn't it like 10 years ago that they changed the quarter pounder? Like they were doing like all the Angus beef? Yes. See, I remember that. Pepperidge Farm remembers when McDonald's tried to go bougie. I like McDonald's is returning to its roots as, well, there's nothing else, and it's 5 p.m. and my kids are screaming. As for today, temperatures starting out in the 30s. Look at the winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Effectively, it feels like the 20s. So, yes, it's about ballpark where we were yesterday. The difference is, of course, the winds make it feel cooler, and that's probably going to be a factor all day today with winds 10, 15, and even 20 miles per hour. Now, here's the thing, though. At least we're not dealing with the wet weather, but with the cool air, last thing you want to do is end up stuck somewhere. So I always encourage everybody, now is the time of year, put blankets and extra winter gear in your car. Now, if you are traveling this morning, the good news is we haven't seen any tie-ups or concerns at this hour. Everything seems to be moving smoothly on the state roads and interstates.
2 IRS whistleblowers testifying behind closed doors yesterday to the House Ways and Means Committee.
They claim Hunter Biden received special treatment while under investigation for unpaid taxes. Janae Bowens reports.
Veteran IRS agents Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler testified behind closed doors Tuesday to further make the case the federal Hunter Biden investigation was mishandled, despite evidence that Hunter Biden willfully violated U.S. tax code, failing to report millions of dollars. This is what Ziegler said during a public hearing in July.
It appeared to me, based on what I experienced, that the U.S. Attorney in Delaware in our investigation was constantly hamstrung, limited, and marginalized by DOJ officials as well as other U.S. attorneys.
Testimony from several FBI and IRS officials casts doubt on some of the key claims from the whistleblowers. However, the House Ways and Means Committee not only heard more of their testimony, but also examined new government-protected documents. Before the closed session, the committee's chairman, Jason Smith, told the press, look into other aspects of the impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
President Biden lied. Despite what he claimed, not only has evidence shown he was aware of his office being sold around the world to the benefit of his family.
On Monday, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer released subpoenaed bank records revealing Hunter Biden's business made direct monthly payments to his father.
These direct monthly payments to Joe Biden are part of a pattern revealing Joe Biden knew about, participated in, and benefited from his family's shady business schemes.
Hunter Biden's attorney told The Hill the monthly $1,380 transfers were made to repay his father for a truck payment that Hunter Biden was unable to finance himself. The investigation won't stop here. The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Hunter Biden to appear in a closed-door deposition next week. Democrats have been critical of the private meeting, pushing for a public one instead. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul setting a special election for February 13th to replace former Republican Representative George Santos. He represented parts of Long Island and Queens before he became the 6th person in U.S. history to be ousted from Congress. Party leaders will select candidates for the special election. Whoever wins will serve the remainder of Santos's term, which ends January 2025.
The U.S. military confirming an American from Ohio is one of 8 people killed in a helicopter crash. Air Force Senior Airman Brian Cody Johnson from Reynoldsburg died when the Osprey helicopter crashed during a training exercise off the coast of southern Japan. Johnson's family just released a statement. It says in part, quote, Cody was an amazing and caring son, brother, uncle, and friend to all. Cody made a huge impact on all who knew him, and those family and friends are working through the pain and grief that comes with this immeasurable loss, end quote. The family also asks for privacy.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the IDF should take control of Gaza when the war ends. World leaders question what should happen next. The Biden administration believes Palestinian Authority should have control, but Israel says it wants to revoke governing power for people in Gaza. Now U.S. officials are calling for Israel to let more humanitarian aid into Gaza.
We don't think Israel is doing enough. We think they need to do more to allow humanitarian assistance in. That's why I said we want the number of trucks to increase. 100 a day is not enough. 70,000 liters of fuel going in a day is not enough.
Multiple aid organizations warn of an apocalyptic-like situation in Gaza. Healthcare infrastructure is virtually unusable, food is limited, and people are looting and stealing to survive. The number of trucks with aid entering Gaza is lower now than before last week's truce. Egypt says hundreds of trucks with aid are sitting at the border waiting to cross in. The State Department is trying to work with Israel's government to get them inside.
High-level Ukrainian national security leaders are in D.C. this week. They're meeting with U.S. security officials as the White House warns aid to Ukraine is drying up. The inability of U.S. lawmakers to come together on emergency aid for both Ukraine and Israel is top of mind. The GOP wants the aid package to include changes to border policy. Senate Democrats are not budging. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the package will not get through the House without substantial changes to the asylum process.
A key vote today at the Ohio State House as Ohio lawmakers look to make changes to Issue 2. It's set to go into effect tomorrow. Now, proposed changes include tax revenue and local regulations. Many voters are now upset. Politicians are trying to modify what voters already approved. Lawmakers pushing for these changes say people who voted in favor of the bill didn't read deeply into it and just focused on the weed itself.
Holidays can be one of the happiest times of the year, but it can be a challenge for those dealing with grief.
Which makes it important to know what's best for the season. Melina Brown joins us now with tips on dealing with holiday grief. Melina.
Over the next few weeks, you'll hear so many people talk about shopping, baking, the hype around the holidays, but you may have someone in your life who's dealing with grief, and experts tell me it's a great time to check in. By showing up, even just through a text or a call, can show someone the grief they're dealing with they aren't alone. And while keeping up with tradition may be difficult, experts say there are ways to make it new.
Rather than just simply cutting that particular piece out of the holidays, continue that tradition with the idea that their memory continues to be there.
Julie Manuel with Kettering Health says keeping your loved one involved through a memory to pass on can start new traditions and pass them on through the years. Now, if you're someone experiencing grief or loss, there are resources in the area that can help you. You can reach out to local hospice centers for grief counseling or even join a support group so that you can speak with those also experiencing loss. Back to you.
Our time right now is 5:40. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
A Florida woman's chickens going viral after many believed they were a glitch in the Matrix. Just had the reason behind their weird behavior.
You're watching
A Florida woman's chickens going viral on TikTok for some strange behavior that had the owner wondering, is it the end of the world? Jeannie Moons shares more.
Chickies! The owner of these chickens in Tampa, Florida is so new to raising them that she hasn't even given each of them names.
Pepper, 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 and Pepper. Because do you see a difference?
But even a rookie knows chickens are supposed to run for food. So Brianna Antoinette was stunned.
Why are y'all not moving? Hello?
When all 5 of her chickens simultaneously froze and stayed paralyzed for over 2 minutes. What was your immediate thought when they froze?
I thought Jesus was coming back. What you are witnessing in that video is a live panic attack.
What is happening right now? Chickens!
The internet had theories. People asked.
Did you try unplugging them and plugging them back in?
Reminded us of a black lab named Maverick who froze when he encountered 5 wooden black cat lawn decorations.
Maverick.
This was instinctual pointing behavior, pointing out prey, until finally...
Hey, it's okay, dude.
Maverick's tail unfroze first. As for the paralyzed chickens, when Brianna yelled for her fiancé, they suddenly unfroze.
Nick! What we now know and what my fiance was able to spot in the tree above was a hawk.
This hawk has killed 4 of their chickens. They've strung fish line above the enclosure to keep the hawk away. By standing motionless, they're trying to be invisible. Is this what they mean by acting chicken?
Did I do something?
Jeannie Moos, CNN.
What the?
New York.
Oh my God!
Now,
It's interesting that the prey freeze like that, but then also like the dog with the pointer. Was...
the animals are weird. I mean, they do special things. I mean, I've had my dog just flat out stop while we're walking and stare at stuff and not budge. So, I don't know.
Be glad my dog never stops. She would be like dead tired and still be going crazy. But I thought it was interesting that the hawk was up in it. Like, up, we see the hawk and freeze. No movement, hawk can't see us. That's the rules.
It's funny, calling out, the name of her fiance is what triggered it.
Yeah, what got them moving again.
They're like, oh, everybody scatter, he's coming.
So funny. I don't know how I'd react.
Everybody run.
Imagine you are that fiance and you're like, oh, I'm the reason that the chickens start to reactivate. Not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to the weather wall and see what's going on this morning. We are talking about a much more quiet morning comparatively to yesterday. In fact, today, other than maybe just clouds, that's about the only impact that we could expect. Temperatures will be near 40 degrees, probably getting low 40s across the southern part of our area. We're pointing out, though, with the winds, it's going to feel like the 30s. So while the winds won't do anything other than make it, I'm going to use the term more miserable outside, that's about it. Now, once we get into tomorrow, temperatures falling to near freezing, should be able to get to near 50. And then from there, I do expect Friday to be potentially even warmer, as highs not only get into the 50s, but well into the 50s and actually start to approach maybe even 60 for Saturday. So warm up for the weekend, but that's also your next chance of wet weather. We'll touch on that in just a little bit.
Our time right now is 5:43. Today in Hometown Hero, Adamero highlights a local church giving back to those that need it most.
You're watching Your Day.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Good morning and welcome to the Watson's weather patio, where so far it's a frankly quiet morning in terms of wet weather. But boy, I'll tell you what, yesterday was a deluge during the second half of the day, at least over Miamisburg. I was out at the gym, and next thing I know, I was traveling through rain and just cold weather. And frankly, today it's still going to be quite cool. In fact, you look over the wind chills, they're maybe technically colder than yesterday because we have these temperatures feeling like they're around 30. I mean, this is not a warm start to your morning at all. It is technically, if you want to get speaking, above average, but when you factor in the winds, it just has that feel of winter air. Today, I think the wind chills will be a factor all day. We'll be around 40. We're pointing out that 40 is about 5 degrees above average, but we'll be 10, maybe even close to 15 degrees above average by the weekend. So today, the cold day, but at least it's not raining.
It's the season of giving, and a local church took that especially to heart.
Their gift will help make the lives of dozens of kids in need easier. It's why members of this church are hometown heroes.
Sometimes it's the little things, a suitcase in this case, that can make a world of difference. Especially when it's going to a child who's in need of a little boost.
This is the mandate of the church, to care for the orphans, to care for the widows, and to just look outside and see what's going on in our community and how we could be of assistance. So this is something that we did the first year, and I'm just elated that this is something that we've been able to continue to do every year.
So Omega Baptist Church's social justice ministry is helping kids entering foster care at Montgomery County Children's Services. They filled these suitcases with personal hygiene items. Many of the children entering foster care have just a plastic or paper bag to carry their belongings, so these suitcases also make a big difference. A world of difference, really, thanks to a group of hometown heroes.
If you know someone that's a hometown hero, let us know. Grab your phone and scan the QR code.
You can chime in your submission through our app. We see a description of why they're a hometown hero and a few pictures or video.
Our time right now is 5:52. What do you call a big pig that does karate? A pork chop. This little piggy running all the way home, or not home, just ahead, the video of the escapee caught on police body cam.
You're watching Your Day.
All right, time to do some weather here where, of course, we talked about it earlier this morning, how cold it was. And maybe at least at this point, the only thing that you can deal with is the fact that we're not dealing with rain and snow. That's certainly a plus from yesterday. At a certain point, I think that everybody could agree. You just want snow instead of rain because at least snow doesn't make for mud. Yesterday was just not very fun to be outside and very not fun to let the dog run out either. Meanwhile, for temperatures this morning, 32 in Wapakoneta, 32 in Greenville, and 36 in Lebanon. You take the wide view look at it. We do have the warmer weather to the south, colder weather to the north. Very typical pattern as we start to get some colder air arriving. But that cold air will transition to some warmer air, maybe not in time for today, but I do think it'll be here for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning itself, probably maybe about as cool as this morning, somewhere in a ballpark of 30, 32, but then we'll rise all the way to 50 degrees. No, it's not the hugest diurnal shift, but it is a big shift towards the warmer air, considering that will be some 10 degrees warmer today tomorrow compared to today and yesterday. There we go. Friday, it's going to be even warmer. Saturday, we could tack on another few degrees. Saturday and Sunday both feature chances of wet weather. We're pointing out that Sundays could go from rain to snow, and perhaps even Saturday, depending on how everything comes together, could get a couple rumbles of thunder. Kind of interesting. We're in December, could get that. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, if you are traveling, Salem Ave and Philadelphia Drive, that's your only trouble spot as of right now. Seems to be moving pretty good elsewhere. Again, our cameras are not functioning at this morning, so unfortunately we can't pull those up.
This was anything but your typical police chase. A couple of officers in a suburb of Philadelphia had their hands full yesterday. This as they tried to round up a 4-year-old pig that got loose. The officers eventually caught the pig, but it was no easy feat. The pig's name is Albert Einstein. I love that. It's unclear how he got free, but after the pig went hog wild, police returned him to his owners.
Things like, nope. I'm good. I mean, that would be hard. I've watched police chase, cow across the highway, and that was not a pleasant experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard chasing animals, especially ones, at least it doesn't seem like that street was busy, but where they got on the interstate, wasn't it like 2 weeks ago that we had a bunch of...
The piglets.
Yeah, the piglets, yeah. So we've had our own issues with those too here.
Little piglets, I think, are
cute.
easier,
Probably,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, because you pick them up at least.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot more, though.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like one pig that, frankly is, a couple 100 pounds versus a bunch of piglets where you could just chuck them in.
Can probably run faster, too.
Nick's talking about chucking piglets.
Yeah, I mean, you just, in the car. Like, what do you think? I'm not tossing it like it's, a football.
Pigskin.
All right, we still have much more coming up on your day at 6 a.m.
As we continue celebrating the holidays, experts say it's a great time to check in on your loved ones.
And all across the Miami Valley, there are people experiencing food insecurity. Just ahead, how local organizations are trying to help.
You're watching your
Good morning and welcome. I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King.
Here's 3 quick stories to get your day started. Metro Parks making holidays merry and bright. You can time travel back to the Victorian era Christmas this weekend at Carriage Hill's Christmas on the Farm this Saturday. Plus Saturday and Sunday you can head out for music at the market at Riverscape. Lots of good stuff happening.
So much going on right now.
Carriage Hill is a ton of fun, especially for the kiddos because they got a bunch of animals out there.
Cute.
They've got like donkeys, they have sheep as you can see here,
Yeah.
and they got these huge pigs. These pigs are monstrous. So go
That
check
sounds
it out.
like so much fun. And looking for some holiday lights, all you have to do is head to downtown Dayton. You can see an interactive drive-through light show for downtown jingle lights every night until January 1st.
Kids love it. I mean, go, ooh, lights.
So cute. And now is the time to do it before it gets too cold.
Yeah, and you could get out if you want to and walk around like
bearable.
these folks, or if your
Oh my God.
kids are a
This is
little
cute.
wild, then maybe not. But yeah, it's so much fun.
Having a good time.
They got speakers set up down at Courthouse Square and stuff playing music. It's great.
Aw.
And Juby's Ice Cream releasing their newest ice cream flavor for the holidays. Okay, this is
I need
tiramisu. Now it features vanilla cream-filled wafer cookies and chocolate crunch topping.
I would destroy that.
Tiramisu is one of my favorite desserts.
I could eat so much of that.
Oh yeah, I bet that's so
my
good.
Gosh.
Juby's have come on the show before. Good people,
Okay, well, we need to
great
get them on the show again.
ice cream folks. Yeah, and we'd be like, bring us some ice cream.
I need some of that. Sounds
Tiramisu, please.
So good.
Yum.
We are waking up to a chilly start here in the Miami Valley. It's really starting to feel like December.
You know what? It may be cold. I still enjoy ice cream this time of year. My little ones, they
there's never
love
a
it.
wrong time
yeah,
for ice cream.
no wrong time at all. Let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, do you have a favorite winter flavor this time of year?
Winter flavor. Hot chocolate. Let's go with that. I know it's not, I think that's my favorite winterish flavor. That or maybe like I don't know. Maybe I'm a hot tea person. I don't know where my flavor ends up. I don't know. I'm a weird person. Temperatures low 30s this morning, mid 30s further south. We are looking at a bus stop forecast, which will feature temperatures feeling more like the 20s than the 30s. Notice how even as of 11 a.m., we're still down in the mid to upper 30s. So a chilly day, but not necessarily that cold considering the average high this time of year is in the mid 40s. Meanwhile, if you are going to be out and about today, it's going to be a little bit breezy, but at least we're not dealing with the wet roads, so keep that in mind. As for those roads right for now, the only incident is at Salem Ave at Philadelphia Drive. Everything else is moving smoothly.
Holidays can be one of the happiest times of the year, but it can be a challenge for those dealing with grief.
Which makes it important to know what's best for this season. Melena Brown joins us now with tips on dealing with holiday grief. Melena?
Many people will spend the next few weeks getting ready to celebrate and enjoy holiday traditions with their family and friends. At the same time, someone you know may be dealing with the loss of a loved one, and the holidays can really put a spotlight on those losses. Experts tell me there's no blueprint for processing grief. This year, if you're dealing with grief, make a plan and keep it simple. Decide what events or traditions you feel comfortable participating in and only do what you're comfortable with. It can also be a great time to surround yourself with people who can help during this time.
It's a really good time to make an intentional visit to neighbors, friends, families, just to make sure that you're staying connected with other people.
Julie Manuel with Kettering Health tells me it's important to remember everyone deals with grief differently, even people in the same family who've lost the same person. And keeping up with holiday traditions you had with the person you lost may seem like a challenge, and experts have tips on that coming up next.
Food insecurity is a growing problem across the Miami Valley, causing food banks to see an increase in demand.
Jenny Lee Bork spoke to 2 local food pantries to understand how much the numbers have increased.
They had 8 mass distributions this year, feeding over 7,000 households, and half of those were needing help for the first time. That's a 17% increase from last year.
The Miami Valley is facing a food insecurity crisis. Both the Food Bank Inc. and Greene County Fish Pantry saying their numbers just continue to rise.
I know a lot of people call it the silent issue because you can't tell just by looking at somebody whether or not they've had a meal that day.
And this is not just impacting lower income individuals and families. The demand for food help is seeping into what many people consider the middle class.
What we call the working poor, they are coming to see us. They work, they put gas in their car, they pay their bills, and there's just not enough to stretch out for food and everything else.
Some relief from the government is allocated from the Farm Bill that's set to reauthorize in 2024. If you want to volunteer or help out either of these organizations, you can go to our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
The final person of interest in the deadly shooting of a teenager now turning himself in. Tommy Moreland is currently in the Montgomery County Jail. Police arrested Moreland and Denisha Taylor in connection to the shooting of Heaven, Washington. Investigators do not believe the pair meant to target Washington. She was shot while riding in a car along Turner Road and Philadelphia Drive. In a statement, Montgomery County Sheriff Rob Streck says, quote, "This heartbreaking incident serves as a stark reminder of how an ongoing street grudge can escalate to a fatal encounter, tragically taking the life of an innocent little girl on her way to school for a field trip. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of Heaven, Washington during this difficult time," end quote. The sheriff's office is still investigating the shooting. If you have any information, you're asked to call the number on your screen right now. That will connect you to the detective working on the case.
An update from the city of Richmond on the My Way Trading warehouse fire cleanup. The EPA washed and removed 441,000 pounds of steel from the site, and crews started the cleanup more than a month ago. Back in April, the fire burned for several days, forcing thousands of people to leave their homes. With the steel gone, cleanup on the contaminated debris and other structures can start. Workers expect to be finished next summer.
You're taking a live look at the city of Troy, where a months-long legal battle could soon come to an end. City council members just voted on a final tentative agreement with several companies about the future of the historic Troy Tavern. It would allow for either the quick repair or demolition of the building. Main Street was closed for months while officials battled over the building's fate. Now we're working to learn when this agreement would be finalized.
The Federal Railroad Administration now selecting the Gem City for a new Amtrak route proposal. Senator Sherrod Brown made the announcement here on his Facebook page. He says the administration picked Dayton as a key route in the Buckeye State. The other major cities include Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, and Toledo. Administrators are now getting ready to begin route developments. Different sections throughout the Midwest will get up to $500,000 in funding for the project. In a statement, Senator Brown says, quote, "Good Amtrak service shouldn't be a privilege only for people on the coast. These new routes would expand opportunity, help grow businesses and create jobs, and connect communities in Ohio and across the Midwest."
Montgomery County Commissioners approving a $1 billion budget for 2024. County officials say they balanced the budget without increasing water and sewer service rates. They also set aside $2.5 million to bring in new jobs and workers to the area. Here's a breakdown of the budget. 43% will go towards social services programs in the county. Another 22.1% will go to courts and law enforcement. Public Works and general government will each get just over 16% of the budget. The rest will go towards economic development and debt services.
Holiday Trivia is your chance to get some extra money under the tree. Use your phone's camera, scan the QR code on your screen right now to enter. Get the question right, you could win a daily prize of a $100 Visa gift card, or you can be entered to win a $5,000 weekly winner. Congrats to yesterday's winner, Kevin McFarland. Make sure you watch Your Day every morning for a chance to win this week. For complete contest rules, go to Dayton247now.com, sponsored by Thrush & Sons.
Our time right now is 6:09. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
A Holocaust survivor sharing her story of survival ahead of the beginning of Hanukkah. Just ahead, how her life is a miracle.
You're watching Your Day.
Well, compared to yesterday, today we are seeing a little bit of clearer skies moving in. That's some good news because, well, yesterday just a miserable slog of an afternoon and evening where it was raining quite heavily right around 6 p.m., at least over my neck of the woods. Perhaps maybe you did not get as much rain, or perhaps maybe got even a little bit of snow early on yesterday. Either way, today a drier day, a day where we should get at least partial sunshine during the early part. Then from there, partly to mostly cloudy. Overnight tonight could get some clearing by morning, but we'll call it generally cloudy. Tomorrow, sunny with highs near 50. So huzzah, huzzah, will be about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday or even today will be. And we'll tack on even more for Friday, despite Friday actually featuring a couple of clouds across the area. Now, if you are traveling, obviously the lack of rain or snow does make a big impact to your morning commute. So this morning shouldn't be as difficult weather-wise. Still, we do have that one incident on the board, and we are looking at 74, 35, 6, 75, and 75, but nothing to report as of now in terms of incidents.
A story of hope and survival. This woman, Helena Zim, sharing her Holocaust story ahead of the beginning of Hanukkah.
In her own words, her entire life truly is a miracle. Sarah Shakales shares more.
My whole life is a miracle, honest to God.
Helena Zim was born in Poland in 1927, the youngest of 3 daughters to 2 soap makers. She was almost 12 when World War II broke out in 1939.
Things changed completely.
The family moved out of the city to a small town.
My father said, I want my children to live. This was his aim. And the thing was, he believed that the only way that we can survive as Christians.
A nice woman got papers for Helena and her sister by lying to a priest. Her dad drilled her new identity into her head.
Your name is Wanda Kazusa, and told me many, many times, repeated many times, you're a Christian.
Helena was 14 years old when her family was forced to split up.
We said goodbye to my father and mother, and I have to tell you, this thing that I would never forget. I knew at the time I would never see my parents again.
She stayed in a couple different homes before landing a job as a housekeeper for a wealthy young newlywed couple.
I was very lucky, honey. She hired me on the spot. We live in Mercer, right across from the Mercer ghetto.
All was fine until she was recognized on the street one day.
She stopped and looked at me, and I looked at her. My heart started beating. I knew it's trouble.
Days later, a German Nazi and a Polish corroborator were waiting for her.
The Nazi stuck a gun into my back. The man was like a monster. Get up, like he's screaming at me. Look, I was just like not even 15 yet.
Her employer saved her, but she would later learn her parents suffered another fate. They died in a concentration camp.
It's a very few people survive. One of the worst. I mean, my husband survived 3 concentration camps.
She eventually immigrated to the U.S. and settled here in Richmond with her husband and went on to have 4 children. She says the images of the Israel-Hamas war scare her.
It really touched me, in a very bad way, because I'm beginning to see about the Holocaust. What I went through, it's happening again. It's a very painful thing.
Helena says being with her family for Hanukkah this year will be extra meaningful.
We're going to celebrate the freedom, being free.
Our time right now is 6:15. A longtime Oregon District restaurant unexpectedly up for sale. Just ahead, how much the owners are asking for.
You're watching Your Day.
Well, it's off to a chilly start this morning. You can see the temperatures 30s. And what's important about this morning is the wind direction. What that's doing is it is pumping in not only cooler but drier conditions. And it's likely for us to continue to drop here. And with the winds outside, it does feel closer to the low 30s and upper 20s. In fact, some of us have now gotten all the way down into the mid 20s for wind chills. If you are going to be stepping outside today, it's going to be chilly, and don't let the temperature, at least on this map, fool you. It's going to feel like the 30s all day at best due to winds that'll actually pick up during the afternoon. The good news is tonight gets down to maybe around 30. But tomorrow it's going to be around 50. So despite the cooler start, it should rise a little bit warmer. And from that point on, it is going to be a generally warm end to the work week into the weekend. But we do expect things to change on Saturday. So Saturday's interesting because if everything goes to the warm side, meaning not only the temperatures, but also the dew points, measure of humidity, in theory, we could get some showers and thunder showers and maybe even some thunderstorms. Now, that's very speculative because, again, everything has to go right. But it's kind of crazy to think about December, actual showers and thunder showers. Now, that being said, Sunday will go the opposite direction, which is perhaps even some snow showers on the backside of that system. Monday and Tuesday will be cooler. If you are traveling this morning, so far we've only had that one incident at Salem and Philadelphia. Everything else seems to be moving smoothly this morning on the interstates. Have not seen any problems develop as of yet.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, a longtime restaurant in the Oregon district appears to be for sale. Franco's Ristorante Italiano on East 5th Street is listed for $1.2 million on an online marketplace for commercial properties. The posting says both the business and the property itself are for sale. It's 12,000 square feet and was recently renovated to include a bar that can seat more than 90 people. The restaurant dates back to the 1970s and is known for its classic Italian dishes. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com. Just click on the news tab and then select Dayton Business Journal.
Our time right now is 6:21. Still to come, digital producer Max waiting in the wings. Your Facebook poll question coming up in minutes.
You're watching Your Day.
Time for Pet of the Day here on your day, where we, of course, celebrate pets. And you know what? I am not above saying I'm wrong. Obviously, I'm a meteorologist. Things happen. But yesterday, I had a little bit of goof. The dog you see here is named as Holly. Megan sent me an email yesterday, and I didn't happen to see. I listed the dog's name as Jackapoo, which is the actual breed. Needless to say, I got a good night's sleep, and I have gotten a little bit more knowledgeable today. As for today, a little bit more cloudy, a little bit more on the cool side, considering that the breeze will kick up and it'll feel like the 30s. So not exactly a great day to walk the dog, but I'll tell you what, it sure beats yesterday's cold rain, where it was frankly miserable during the daytime, especially during the afternoon and evening. Tomorrow should be even better for any dog walks. Now, here's the good news. We got our cameras back. A little bit of a glitch in the system this morning. Now the cameras are up, and you can see traffic moving okay this morning, especially maybe for those that are going out to work, or perhaps maybe to the grocery store to pick up some dinner for tonight.
Speaking of dinner, we got our steak behind digital producer Max.
I was gonna are you gonna call me a steak?
Yeah,
I don't know what that
big piece of meat.
Sure. Anyway, steak. This is a very personal topic. People have very strong opinions on it. How do you like your steak cooked? Do you like it still mooing, or do you like it
still
a little
mooing.
black hockey puck? Yeah.
For me, I grew up on the well done with ketchup. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, and I was always under the impression that the juice was blood because I don't know.
Yeah.
You're a kid. You don't know
I still
better.
say it's blood.
It's a travesty to think that and eat that, and so I go medium rare now because I'm a man. Yes, Alex, what do you do?
I'm not a man, so I go medium well or well done. Honestly,
there's no
I
shame in
probably
medium
would
well.
lean towards well done. I just I don't want any color in there, or I'll freak out.
It bothers you?
I can do a little tiny bit, which is why I said medium well.
I actually had to cook a steak to well done for medical reasons, and I did not know how to do it. I just looked and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. It is medium rare in my house. I have actually cooked the steak to medium before, but if you ask for anything beyond medium in my house, you have personally guaranteed you will never get an invite ever again.
Max, what do you?
Personally, rare or medium rare, just anything. I need to have some pink in there, some red. I like to know that it's nice and juicy. I don't want to chew for more than 30 seconds.
You're right.
Do people eat rare? Just rare steak?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I've eaten black and blue before, which is literally crust on the outside, not cooked inside.
You cut it and it goes, and then you eat it.
It goes
Marusiak. That's right. All right, go chime in right now on Facebook. Max will be back in the next hour.
Our time
Sorry,
right now is 6:27. Still to come.
As we continue celebrating the holidays, experts say it's a great time to check in on your loved ones.
I'm Janae Bones in Washington with a look at two IRS whistleblowers who met behind closed doors. They say the president's son is receiving special treatment.
But first, here's Julie Moran with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Naki.
You know, I am always looking for new products to help keep me and my family safe, and I spend a lot of time in my car. I know you do too. So I am so excited to introduce you to the Minolta Dash Cam. Now, this gives you evidence if you're in an accident, and that is evidence at your fingertips. It records exactly what happened, and this is going to save you a lot of money on insurance claims. And it's extra peace of mind. It's really an investment for protecting your family, and I love that. Now, Minolta, as we know, is just such a trusted brand, and you can record inside and outside of your vehicle. Also, the camera, high resolution, 120-degree lens, clearer footage than any other dash cams on the market. And it automatically, I love this, automatically records collisions when you're parked. How great is that? And as I say, it includes the windshield mount, the memory card, also this power adapter, everything you need to get started right here, all in one piece. So right now we're offering 47% off the Minolta Dashcam, and I want you to head to asadeals.com for this exclusive offer. This is just something protection for you and your family that you are going to love.
Good morning, I'm Nathan Edwards.
And I'm Alex King. Here are 3 stories to get your day started. Tickets for the Major League Soccer Cup final go on sale at 10 this morning. The Columbus Crew are taking on the LAFC at home. You can watch the game this Saturday on Fox 45 starting at 4.
I was a gifted soccer player as a kid. You know how I know? They put me on defense.
The one time I made it a goal when I was a kid, I made it in the wrong side.
That checks, yeah. My brother did that too.
I thought I was good, but my parents
Yeah,
were like,
yay!
No.
It's like, no. Oh well. Comedian Bill Burr is hitting the road next year. He just announced his 2024 tour dates. Burr is performing in Columbus on May 16th. The tickets go on sale Friday morning. Is there a comedian you would love to see?
I don't know.
Burt Kreischer is coming to the right state. I want to see him.
Nate Bargatze.
Bargatze, or whatever his name is. Yeah, he's good. My wife and I, we saw Chelsea Handler for her birthday.
Oh, that's a good one.
It was hilarious.
I like Nate because he's nice and like chill. He's just like a casual
He's
funny.
chill like you.
Yeah. And McDonald's is rolling out some major changes to the Big Mac recipe. That includes a better quality melted cheese, softer buns, and adding onions to the meat on the grill. It's also adding more Big Mac sauce.
What does that say about what they've been feeding us for decades? Just throwing it out there.
If it has improvements. If it needs improvements.
I mean, part of the joy of a Big Mac is just knowing it's not great quality. No, it's not nasty. It's delicious, Alex.
It's delicious because it's nasty.
It's so good. I could eat like 1 million of those. Sign me up.
Please don't do it.
Can't tell.
Don't do it.
Anyways.
Holidays can be one of the happiest times of the year, but it can be a challenge for those dealing with grief.
Which makes it important to know what's best for you this season. Melena Brown joins us now with tips on dealing with holiday grief.
Over the next few weeks, you'll hear so many people talk about shopping, baking, and the holiday hype, but you may have someone in your life who's dealing with grief, and experts tell me it's a great time to check in. By showing up, even just through a text or a call, will show someone dealing with grief that they aren't alone. And while keeping up with traditions may be difficult, experts say there are ways to make it new.
Rather than just simply cutting that particular piece out of the holidays, continue that tradition with the idea that their memory continues to be there.
Julie Manuel with Kettering Health says keeping your loved one involved through their memory can start new traditions, and you'll be able to pass them on through the years. Now, if you're someone experiencing grief or loss, there are resources in this area that can help. You can reach out to a local hospice center who offers grief counseling, or join a support group so you can speak with other people going through a similar circumstance. Back to you.
Here's what we're looking at for this morning. Temperatures are in the low 30s, with the exception of the far southern part of our area. We're pointing out that no matter where you are, we have developed a little bit of a breeze this morning, and that does mean that these temperatures feel like they are in the 20s. It is very much so on the cool side this morning, and it is colder than the temperatures actually are by at least a half dozen degrees. So if you are stepping outside this morning, be prepared to have the jacket handy, perhaps a glove, and maybe even a hat. Either way, this is going to be a colder feeling morning. The only difference is, of course, yesterday was quite wet at this time. Now, what it does mean is it's going to be a lot more of an easy morning commute. Cameras are back up, so let's go ahead and use those. Right now, no issues on the interstates and state roads. Traffic just beginning to pick up.
Two IRS whistleblowers testifying behind closed doors yesterday to the House Ways and Means Committee.
They claim Hunter Biden received special treatment while under investigation for unpaid taxes. Janae Bowens reports.
Veteran IRS agents Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler testified behind closed doors Tuesday to further make the case the federal Hunter Biden investigation was mishandled, despite evidence that Hunter Biden willfully violated U.S. tax code, failing to report millions of dollars. This is what Ziegler said during a public hearing in July.
It appeared to me, based on what I experienced, that the U.S. Attorney in Delaware in our investigation was constantly hamstrung, limited, and marginalized by DOJ officials as well as other U.S. attorneys.
Testimony from several FBI and IRS officials casts doubt on some of the key claims from the whistleblowers. However, the House Ways and Means Committee not only heard more of their testimony, but also examined new government-protected documents. Before the closed session, the committee's chairman, Jason Smith, told the press, look into other aspects of the impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
President Biden lied. Despite what he claimed, not only has evidence shown he was aware of his office being sold around the world to the benefit of his family.
On Monday, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer released subpoenaed bank records revealing Hunter Biden's business made direct monthly payments to his father.
These direct monthly payments to Joe Biden are part of a pattern revealing Joe Biden knew about, participated in, and benefited from his family's shady business schemes.
Hunter Biden's attorney told The Hill the monthly $1,380 transfers were made to repay his father for a truck payment that Hunter Biden was unable to finance himself. The investigation won't stop here. The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Hunter Biden to appear in a closed-door deposition next week. Democrats have been critical of the private meeting, pushing for a public one instead. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul is setting a special election for February 13th to replace former Republican Representative George Santos. He represents part of Long Island and Queens before he became the sixth person in U.S. history to be ousted from Congress. Party leaders will select candidates for the special election. Whoever wins will serve the remainder of Santos's term, which ends in January of 2025.
The U.S. military confirming an American from Ohio is one of 8 people killed in a helicopter crash. Air Force Senior Airman Brian Cody Johnson from Reynoldsburg died when the Osprey helicopter crashed during a training exercise off the coast of southern Japan. Johnson's family just released a statement. It says in part, quote, Cody was an amazing and caring son, brother, uncle, and friend to all. Cody made a huge impact on all who knew him, and those family and friends are working through the pain and grief that comes with this immeasurable loss, end quote. The family also asks for privacy. Get ready to shop till you drop. Holidays at the Dayton Arcade kicks off today. The 3-day event in the arcade's rotunda will feature holiday shopping from small business vendors, food trucks, live entertainment, and so much more. It all starts at 3 p.m. today, tomorrow, and Friday. And on Thursday, the RTA is offering free shuttles to the arcade from Five Rivers Metro Park Sunset at the Market event.
A Germantown football player is now one of the 2 Ohio Offensive Players of the Year. Caden Kenson joins Rashid Cisse for the title. Coach Ben Johnson from Waynesville joins the honorees for Ohio Coaches of the Year.
Congratulations to them. Our time right now is 6:40. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Passengers on board a Breeze Airways flight out of Orlando got quite the scare after an alleged bomb threat. Just ahead, the latest from Florida.
You're watching Your Day.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Flooding in western Washington. The water overtook some roads in parts of Snoqualmie Valley due to heavy rain dropped by an atmospheric river. This man paddling to dry land. The weather prompted him to leave the farm where he works.
I kept thinking I was going to flip, but I had to stop, get my balance, continue on.
More rain is in the forecast for Western Washington and Oregon.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Hi, my ears are burning. It is quite cool out here on the Watson's Weather patio. A morning where you definitely want to have a hat if you can, or some gloves. Obviously, I don't have either of which because I need to keep my hair straight. But the wind speeds right now, 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's less about the wind speeds than it is about the temperatures and wind speeds combination. It feels like it's in the 20s this morning. Is it unheard of? Absolutely not. Does it make it a lot more miserable if you're stepping outside with the kids for the bus stop? Probably. Now, yesterday we were dealing with the rain and snow. At least we're not dealing with that. But again, it is colder outside. And with the potential for a little bit of sunshine, we should be able to get up around 40. But with the winds, it's probably going to feel like the 30s all day. And tomorrow, guess what? We've got 50 degrees after another chilly start.
Passengers on board a Breeze Airways flight out of Orlando got quite the scare after an alleged bomb threat. Yesterday, 2 people were arrested at the Jacksonville International Airport. They're facing federal charges and could be banned from the airline. According to passengers, the flight was in the air for 45 minutes when an argument between a man and woman began. The 2 were claiming one of them had a bomb.
The people were talking about claiming the other person had a bomb during their flight. The people around them heard the word bomb, reported to the airline. They're obligated to land the plane.
A dad and his daughter got up and walked back and they said, we asked to get moved because someone was talking about a bomb that they had.
The flight was on its way to Rhode Island and will resume this afternoon. This is still under investigation.
Our time right now is 6:45. You're watching Your Day.
Time to step outside, well, figuratively, not literally, because literally when I did, 5 minutes ago, that was cold. As for this morning, we are looking at some clear skies popping up over the Miami Valley. I do think today will feature more sun than did yesterday, but there's still going to be some extended periods during the afternoon and evening where it will likely be a little bit more towards the overcast end of the spectrum. Then as we get into overnight, should be able to drop somewhere in the low 30s, probably ballpark around freezing for around this time tomorrow. Tomorrow itself, sunshine-filled day. Do think we'll have temperatures 50 thereabouts, and then from that point on we should be well into the 50s for Friday and Saturday. In fact, by Saturday there's an outside chance that we get temperatures near 60, which would be probably about the point where 15-20 degrees above average, not just during the day, but also I'll put your attention towards the overnight lows, upper 40s. That's running about 20 degrees above average. But Saturday is going to be a wet day. I think it starts perhaps as soon as the morning hours and continues all day, continues through the overnight period and into Sunday. Sunday now trending more midday. We could see that switch over as cold air arrives, but it really depends on how everything comes together. Could be a little bit of wet snow mixing in, or perhaps maybe it's just a really quick transition to cold and dry. It'll be cold and dry Monday and Tuesday, and also for this morning if you're heading out on your morning commute. As for the traffic situation, thankfully it is pretty quiet. Yesterday I had numerous crashes, only one to report at this hour, Salem Ave at Philadelphia Drive.
Our time right now is 6:51. All across the Miami Valley, there are people experiencing food insecurity. Just add how local organizations are trying to help.
You're watching Your Day.
Holidays can be one of the happiest times of the year, but it can be a challenge for those dealing with grief.
Which makes it important to know what's best for you this season. Melena Brown joins us now with tips on dealing with holiday grief. Melena.
Many people will spend the next few weeks getting ready for the holidays and enjoying holiday traditions with family and friends. But at the same time, you may know someone who's dealing with a loss of a loved one, and the holidays can really put a spotlight on those losses. Experts tell me there's no blueprint for processing grief. This year, if you are dealing with grief, make a plan and keep it simple. Decide what events or traditions you feel comfortable participating in and only do what you're comfortable with. It can also be a great time to surround yourself with people who can help.
It's a really good time to make an intentional visit to neighbors, friends, families, just to make sure that you're staying connected with other people.
Julie Manuel with Kettering Health tells me it's important to remember everyone deals with grief differently, even people in the same family who lost the same person. And keeping up with holiday traditions you had with the person you lost may seem like a challenge. So coming up in a bit, we're going to share what experts say about this as well.
Food insecurity is a growing problem across the Miami Valley, causing food banks to see an increase in demand.
Jenna Lee Borg spoke to 2 local food pantries to understand how much the numbers have increased.
They had 8 mass distributions this year, feeding over 7,000 households, and half of those were needing help for the first time. That's a 17% increase from last year.
The Miami Valley is facing a food insecurity crisis. Both the Food Bank Inc. and Greene County Fish Pantry saying their numbers just continue to rise.
I know a lot of people call it the silent issue because you can't tell just by looking at somebody whether or not they've had a meal that day.
And this is not just impacting lower income individuals and families. The demand for food help is seeping into what many people consider the middle class.
What we call the working poor, they are coming to see us. They work, they put gas in their car, they pay their bills, and there's just not enough to stretch out for food and everything else.
Some relief from the government is allocated from the Farm Bill that's set to reauthorize in 2024. If you want to volunteer or help out either of these organizations, you can go to our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
The final person of interest in the deadly shooting of a teenager now turning himself in, Tommy Moreland, is currently in the Montgomery County Jail. Police arrested Moreland and Denisha Taylor in connection to the shooting of Heaven Washington. Investigators do not believe the pair meant to target Washington. She was shot while riding in a car along Turner Road and Philadelphia Drive. In a statement, Montgomery County Sheriff Rob Streck says, quote, "This heartbreaking incident serves as a stark reminder of how an ongoing street grudge can escalate to a fatal encounter, tragically taking the life of an innocent little girl on her way to school for a field trip. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of Heaven Washington during this difficult time," end quote. The Sheriff's Office is still investigating the shooting. If you have any information, you're asked to call the number on your screen right now. That will connect you to the detective working on the case.
An update from the city of Richmond on the My Way Trading Warehouse fire cleanup. The EPA washed and removed 441,000 pounds of steel from the site. Crews first started the cleanup more than a month ago. Back in April, the fire burned for several days, forcing thousands of people to leave their homes. With the steel gone, cleanup on contaminated debris and other structures